Welcome back to Crafted by Ray. I'm Ray, and today I'm going to be making a farm table with folding legs using 2x6s, 2x4s, and 1x4s from Home Depot. So let's begin.
Okay, I'm starting with 2x6s, which I have to run through the planer to get them down to their final thickness for the tabletop, which is 1.25 inches. And I left them long so that I can clean up the snipe when I cut them down to their final length. Now, snipe is from the planer. It's in-feed and out-feed rollers, releasing the pressure of the board or in the beginning, and the blades cutting into it, leaving big chunks of material missing. As you can see me right here, cutting them off the excess pieces. Now the final length of this table is going to be 6 feet long.
So I like to add lines to help me remember to look at the end of the board. I'll end up sanding this off or cutting it off at the end, but this just helps me know that I can alternate the grain pattern to make it easier to keep the table more flat.
Time to get the biscuit joiner out. Now, the reason I'm adding biscuits is to keep the table somewhat flat when I do the glue up, so I can sand some of the high spots down. I don't have a planer that's big enough for a 4-foot table, so I went with biscuits. So let's see what happens. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do. After using the biscuit joiner, I use the shock vac to get all the excess material out. Which makes it a lot easier to get the biscuits in with the glue. If you skip that step, it just makes it harder to align everything.
Okay, now I'm gluing the top up, and I just wanted to say, if you have not yet already, please hit that subscribe button, turn on a notification bell, and give it a like, share this video so this channel can grow. Thank you so much.
I am trying to glue the whole tabletop together and try to keep it flat as possible. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit, but I got it to work. I like to make sure I got enough glue on both faces. Right here I'm about to use our cauls to keep the seams more flat to each other. It'll help the table be more flat. And I'm not worried about having extra boards on the ends right now, because I'm going to be trimming this down to its final size after the glue up. So I'm just letting those clamps dent the edges. And now I'm just washing off the excess glue because less I have to sand off. Here I am now trimming it down to the final thickness. And then lots and lots of sanding. I didn't show all the sanding, but I went through all the different grits, just up to 220. And now I'm doing the radiuses. I could use a hand router, but I kind of like to organically sand it, I guess. Now I'm getting ready to cut the skirting for the table. I'm going to be using 1x4 pine boards. And now I'm putting pocket holes in them to link the boards or the skirting together. And I'm also going to be pocket holding or screws to the tabletop. So I'm gluing the ends of the skirting together, but I just want to point out that I am not gluing the skirting down to the table, because it's very important to allow for expansion and contraction, or the whole table will just explode. Now I'm using 2x4s for the legs. I try my best to keep the legs together per side. That's why I'm cutting them together, so we don't have one leg longer than the other. Now what I'm using here is I made a jig to align the center hole of the 1x4 through the 2x4, and I'll be drilling that out to put a carriage bolt in to allow the leg to pivot. And I'll be doing that on every leg. Now I'm just cutting angles off the end of the leg to allow it to have free movement without binding up on the table. For the hardware I'm using, it's just a carriage bolt and 2 nuts, and I'm jam locking them together, so instead of having threaded nylon nuts. Here I'm notching out the legs to add another support of a 1x4 between them to stop from racking. And what this is really good for is that I can pull the legs together just a little bit so that they don't rub on the sides of the skirting when I close the legs up. I have done this in the past with a router, but I figured why not just use the table saw today. Now I'm cutting some angled parts to help with the racking of the legs left and right. And what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting 45s. I picked a size. They don't necessarily have to be right on, but I like them kind of have the same gap in the center as all the other tables I've made. And I just put pocket holes in these and connect them. I do not glue these, but they do help with the racking side to side. Now I'm adding a little lock. It's just a bolt, or it's just a barrel latch, and I'm hitting it to mark it in the legs so I have an idea where to drill at the hole. And there it goes. I lock it in, it works. Now I'm adding some 2x4. I'm not sure what they're called. They're like joists, bracing, something like that. I don't know. If you know, leave a in the comments so I know for future purchases. I just wander around the store until I find them. And now I'm just putting the table together. That bar goes in the middle to stop the legs from closing on themselves, and I flip it up.
I just want to say thanks for watching my video, and if you could do me a favor and hit one of these boxes here or there, it'll take you to another one of my videos that I think you'll like. And I'll see you guys next time with another Crafted by Ray video.